4:16, Paul told Timothy, he said, take heed of the doctrines. Pay attention to the teachings. He said, continue in them. By so doing, you will save yourself and those who hear you. One of the things I want you to understand is this: the teaching ministry is the only conduit, the only medium upon which God transmits divine truth to the saints. But the question is, do you have discernment to know the kind of teaching you are exposed to? Every day that you rushed to podcast, to listen to your idolicized preacher, teacher, do you search the scriptures to know? In Acts chapter 17:11, the Bible tells us that the Bereans were noble-minded people than those in Thessalonica. You know what? Because in Acts 17:1-2, the Bible tells me that Paul got into Thessalonica. And when he was alleging and opening the eyes of the Jews in the reality of Jesus being the Messiah, you know what happened? They tried to sack him. They tried to persecute Paul. And he came into Berea with one simple message: Christ and him crucified. Christ and his redemptive work. And the Bible tells me when he came into Berea, for the Bereans were more noble-minded people, for they listened to him with readiness of mind and searched the scriptures. I want you to be a Berean in this end time, because they are a bunch of teachings emanating from the pulpit, but it is a motivational speeches. It is a motivational message. It does not have power to save. It does not have power to heal. It does not have power to deliver. It does not have power to bless. Be careful with the kind of motivational speeches you are exposed to in the expense of the message of the cross, with the expense of the gospel message. Discernment will help you to be able to identify false teachers who are spring up in this end time, whose basic objective is to pull crowd onto their ministry in order to increase their inflows, their revenue, and build Tower of Babel ministry, but no Pentecost fire to transform people's heart. You still live in this ministry, you go back home, you are still wallowing in sin, you are still wallowing in diseases, you are still wallowing in sickness. The Lord has sent me to tell you, beloved, be careful in this end time, because you can be misled by false teaching. Discernment will help you to be able to identify the doctrines that are coming from the devil and the doctrines that are coming from God. Listen to me, beloved, carefully. Without discernment, you cannot know the doctrine that is coming from the devil. The reason is that the difference between the original and the counterfeit are similar. In this end time, the Bible has given us an insight in 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1, that people will pay attention to seducing spirit and doctrines of the devil. Doctrines that are coming from the devil. The source of these teachings are not coming from God. The source of this teaching are not coming from the Holy Ghost, who is the spirit of revelation and the spirit of truth. Do you have discernment? Your inability to know can mislead you. Your inability to know can lead you from right teachings onto a bad teachings. You can be seduced and move on to the doctrine of the devil. In Colossians chapter 2 verses 8, Paul told the church of Colossae, he said, beware that no man deceive you. Beware from the philosophy of men and vain deceit, which is not after Christ. All teachings that are coming from the devil, they take you away from Christ and him crucified. They take you away from Jesus and what he has come to do 2,000 years ago. They take you away from the gospel. We are living in the dispensation that people don't want to hear the gospel any longer. They want to be in the churches. They want to be in the ministry. That false teacher, that false apostle, that false prophet is going to tell him the false things that are not going to come to reality. Be careful. We are living at a dispensation where the doctrines of the devil has taken the airways. The doctrine of the devil has taken the media.